Hey everybody, Peter B, and welcome to another edition of Tobacco Card Tuesday. Today I'm going to tell you about the story of Heine Zimmerman. But first we're going to look at his tobacco card. This is a T206, and there is Heine on the Chicago Cubs, holding a bat and wearing proudly the Cubs uniform. This happens to be a sovereign back. So, Heine Zimmerman, T206. Well, I'm sure most of you out there listening to this have heard of the Merkle boner. That's when Fred Merkle on first base, and there was another player on third, and someone hit a ball. The runner on third scored. That would have been the game-winning run. But poor Merkle, because it was forced play, he never ran the second because people were running onto the field, and they tagged him out. And thus, everyone started saying the Merkle boner. But there's also the Heine Zimmerman boner. And let me tell you about that, and also about poor Heine. 20-year-old Heine Zimmerman made his Major League debut in 1907 with these Chicago Cubs. The right-handed swinging Zimmerman had strong hands and forearms and was known as a very aggressive hitter. He would take pitches just inches off the ground or even over his head and slash them for base hits. Sort of like what Vladimir Guerrero Sr. did more recently. Initially, Heine was just a utility infielder backup. Because remember, Chicago still had Tinker to Evers to Chance, as well as third baseman Steinfeld. So there was no room for him to be an everyday infielder. So he would play for them whenever one of them needed rest. In the late 1910 season, Evers had an ankle injury that ended his season. Zimmerman was called to duty as an everyday player. This lasted for most of the 1911 season until Evers came back. That year, Heine had a .307 batting average and a .462 slugging and ranked near the top in both. Zimmerman was expected to be the utility guy for the 1912 season. But on February 1st, 1912, Cubs' new third baseman Doyle died suddenly from appendicitis. Zimmerman was now the full-time third baseman, and he responded by winning the National League Triple Crown with a .372 batting average, 14 home runs, and 104 RBIs. Zimmerman was the toast in the town in Chicago in 1912, and now he had a swelled head with all that attention given to him. He did have another fine season in 1913, but he started to fight management for more money, and he played more lackadaisical in both the field and at bat. By mid-1916 season, Zimmerman's play was frowned upon by the Cubs, and so they traded him to the cellar-dwelling Giants. John McGraw had figured he can take Zimmerman and make him a good ball player. After the trade, the Giants actually caught fire and reeled off 26 victories in a row. In 1917, he had his best year since the Triple Crown of 1912. This helped the Giants to go to the 19 World Series against the White Sox. This now brings us to the Zimmerman boner. The White Sox was leading the World Series 3-2, going in to Game 6. In the 4th inning, with no score, Eddie Collins hits a ball towards third base. Zimmerman makes the play, but makes a bad throw. This allows Collins to go to second. Dave Roberts then dropped a Joe Jackson fly ball, putting runners on second and third with no out. Happy Flesh then grounded to the pitcher, Rube Benton. Benton got the ball and threw to Zimmerman at third. This caught Eddie Collins in a rundown between third and home plate. Zimmerman threw the ball to catcher Bill Raridan. But when Raridan threw the ball back to Zimmerman, Collins slipped past the catcher and headed towards the plate. Now, unfortunately, no one bothered to back up the catcher, and so the plate, no one was there. It was empty, wide open. So Eddie Collins kept running. Zimmerman, realizing this, he was very slow-footed, started the chase for Collins down the line, and Collins is a speedster. Of course, he never caught up to him, and he chased him all the way across home plate. This run proved to be the game series, as well as the game winning run, as well as the World Series winning run. Even though Zimmerman had no one to throw to, he became the butt of losing the series, and the Zimmerman boner was born. That play and taking the blame for the boner got into his head. He never was the same player and played even more with lackluster. For the 1919 season, the Giants acquired notoriously corrupt Hal Chase, who unfortunately became Zimmerman's best friend on the team. Zimmerman and Chase started to take money for losing games. After the season and after the fiasco of the 1919 Black Sox, the league clamped down on any sort of gambling. Zimmerman was banned from the game. Now, in 1943, years later, a 4-page cartoon was created about the Zimmerman boner. And here it is right here. Heine Zimmerman's World Series boner. The cartoon kind of makes him look bad. There's the second page. And the third page. It shows Zimmerman not knowing what to do when Collins runs for the plate and no one's there. It shows him chasing Eddie Collins, but there's no way he was going to be caught. Other players did yell for Heine to throw the ball to their base as the runners behind Zimmerman was running. But Zimmerman ran all the way, chasing Collins across the plate. So that run proved to be the winning run, and I don't think they should have, but they blamed poor Heine Zimmerman. Now, like I said, Zimmerman wasn't the best guy. People said that when he did much long before he met Hal Chase, he wasn't throwing games, but he wasn't playing his best just for being lazy. And they say he could be one of the best players if he really put his heart into it. Then after the boner, he was a little pissed at baseball, so he started to make money with Hal Chase, got caught, and banned for life. Now, even more, some statistician said that no one tracked. RBIs was not an official record until 1920. So anyone who had the Triple Crown before 1920, it shouldn't count. So Heine Zimmerman's 1912 Triple Crown, as well as Ty Cobb's in the early 1900s, they were stricken off the records since RBIs wasn't an official stat. Therefore, how can they win the Triple Crown? Well, other researchers fought them, and Heine was put back on with the RBI total. There was a person keeping track from 1909 to 1919 of all the RBIs, and he would report them to the Sport and News, and they were printed. And so they definitely were able to count the RBIs and make them become official. Then later, another statistician counted the RBIs, and it seemed that Heine had 4 short. So once again, they removed him from being a Triple Crown winner. Well, this was fought amongst all the statisticians and Saber, and they ended up recounting, and it was correct the first time. And so if you look up all the Triple Crown winners right now, you'll see Heine Zimmerman won it in 1912. So that's Heine. Good player, didn't live up to his potential, and then turned gambler. So everybody out there, I hope you have a terrific Tobacco Card Tuesday. Goodbye.